All right, this is daily chart of BBRY. Before I talk about BBRY's update, I want to show you what I said about it and then explain. So on my profile page, I already scrolled down to when I wrote this on June 13th. BBRY could be a good long-term investment, but first it must prove itself. Chart explained. So let's click on that. And then what you do if you want to look at it, you click on the actual chart. Right, and so you can see I said BlackBerry needs to break above 840 on volume of over 70 million, 700 million for this to start the uptrend. Again, until that happens, this will just be chopping. Major resistance, I explained that. Once BlackBerry closes above and holds 840 and then patterns and breaks above 970, will this stock have a chance to go to 14? I would wait for this to get over 970 before taking this as a long-term position, and I made this on June 13th. So let's go back to the chart and show how this actually worked out like I said. So this is the earnings day here. So I said it beforehand. As you can see, I made it. That chart was made on June this chart was made on June the 13th, as you can see. So let's go back to there. So on June 13th, I made that chart. We break up and we do this so on. We take a look here. 72.5 million. So it met my requirement. We broke up and we of course held above 840. I mean, in a major strong way. This day was a signal shift one. But we needed to consolidate and break above 970. By getting above 970, it would prove that it would negate the negativity of the prior earnings. So let's take a look at exactly what it did. On an intraday basis, we did exactly what I said before earnings. We had the volume. So here's the earnings day here. We consolidated and we broke up higher. Theoretically, the buying around 950 would be really strong proof right over here, as you can see in my 30-minute bar. But the 970, regardless, 20 cents more didn't make a difference. The stock never really went against you much. As you can see, if you bought the 970, the lowest it ever went was exactly 970 a few days later. So imagine a person giving you an entry point on proof, on power, on volume, and it going not even 1 penny against your position. I think that's a good call. Let's go back to the daily. This is on proof of power, not guessing, because guessing, you never know. Like with earnings, this earnings and what was said and what the market thinks about BlackBerry now is a shift. And getting into BlackBerry at these prices is still inexpensive. And let's look at this carefully. I mean, look, people thought BlackBerry was cheap when it was around 13.50, 14. This is their earnings back in 2013. And I warned about the buying, waiting for, like a lot of people think, we could have bought the low, but everybody thought the BlackBerry's low was over here. Well, it's still lower than that day, right? Would you not agree? It's still lower. So who's got the right buy point? The people trying to buy a bottom where there's no bottom. The last bottom we had was back in the $7-8 area. Look at that. You notice that we're the correspondence. But anyways, that's another story. So a lot of my ideas are based on proof and power and conviction, not on guesswork. Because some stocks never bottom. Like people thought BlackBerry was a bottom over here. And I'm sure a lot of people, there are a lot of longs that still have major positions right in the $14 area. They thought it was cheap over here, right? I mean, we're still below that point. Now we're trying to go to that point, right? So anyways, it did exactly what I said on this day here, and since then we've patterned again and we've broken up again, and I think on a short-term basis the stock goes to 11.10, but on a long-term basis it could be a few weeks or a few months from now that the stock ultimately gets to 14. And even the weekly is very bullish, and that's the first time we've closed above the blue line over here in a long time. I mean, it attempted it before, but not on a bottoming pattern like this. So it's a very unique shift here now, a unique shift. However, there's going to be a lot of pressure in that $12 to $14 area. We'll have to see how it trades. But right now, it's very profitable trade, and long term, this does favor filling the gap at 14. And anyone buying in this 970 area or 950 area is doing very well. There was another buy point over here as well. I talked about buying in. This is a good buy signal here. And it made a major move. Didn't expect this kind of move, but it made a major move. But the stock is a huge shift now. And we've now broken out of daily. We have multiple time frames alignments that are really bullish. So BlackBerry, it's really bullish, and most likely we're going to head to 1110. Maybe tomorrow, very quickly, we should be heading to 1110. And then consolidating and then trying to go higher as well. So it's very bullish, BlackBerry. And again, you know, buying the proof and the power pays, because a lot of people called a lot of things. You know, even here in earnings, they thought that was cheap over here, and we got lower, but there was no proof, you know, and proof pays. I mean, imagine getting in something and it going not 1 cent against you. I can tell you a lot of people, the stock has gone thousands and thousands of dollars. My entry signals of waiting for proof and power, it really pays more often than not. Anyways, thanks for listening. Like the video.